Stop it. Are we live across all platforms all over the world? That is amazing. Hello, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. This is the RC with Adam Q&A hour / hangout session / troubleshooting session time with me where I talk about stuff and things, and I think we're going to have a good time. So if you're new here, my name is Tomothy. No, I'm just kidding. I try to make up a crazy name every time. My name is Adam because it's called RC with Adam, and we like to talk about drones and 3D printing and stuff like that, as well as other important life lessons that we learn along the way. And I especially like helping people who are beginners and just getting into the cool hobbies that are drones and 3D printing, which includes RC aircraft and all that stuff. So a lot of RC stuff in there, and because it's super fun. It's super fun. You can really unleash your creativity, but sometimes it's like so confusing, and you're just like, oh, what's happening? And why isn't this working? And I just want to use the thing that I got. And I've been there, so I know it can be super frustrating. And so our goal here at RC with Adam Industries is to help you get flying or printing instead of pulling your hair out and crying, curled up in a ball on the floor. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here today, if we can. See if that works. Looks like we are working over on YouTube. We're live across YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. If you have questions, comments, you want to talk about some cool drone stuff or whatever, just leave a comment in the comment section or the chat section or something like that. And that's basically what we're going to do. I have pretty much zero plan for the next hour or so. So if you got stuff you want to talk about or topics or whatever, let's hear them. Or questions. Maybe you got a new 3D printer and it's going haywire. I can't guarantee I'm going to solve your problem, but I can guarantee I'll give you some kind of an answer. I can usually point people in the right direction at the very least, because I know sometimes the biggest problem is you just don't know how to even figure out, like, you don't know how to solve a problem when you're just getting started and stuff. Shout out over on YouTube. Shout out to Young Inventor 399. Who just commented on a post that I did a couple days ago saying that we weren't going to do a live stream that day, but then we were going to meet up again today, Monday, little bit past the hour, but usually it's right around noon o'clock Eastern time. And he just says, I hope to win in this upcoming giveaway. And he also said first to comment, and also the only one to comment, because posts don't seem to be very interactive on YouTube. At least at the moment. So shout out to you, Young Inventor 399. Yes, and I did mention that we're going to be doing some giveaway stuff. We're going to be doing like a 12 days of Christmas, 12 days to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, aka Christmas time. And we're going to do, and I know it's not like on the 12 days of Christmas or whatever, because a lot of, as far as I understand, 12 days of Christmas happens on the day of Christmas. I think Christmas starts the 12 days of Christmas. But nowadays it's 12 days up to Christmas. But guess what? If you do both, you get 24 days of Christmas. So that's pretty cool too. Which is also interesting because there's 24 days before Christmas of the month. So anyway, that said, let me make sure I can monitor all of the chats. This is a one-man show today, as it is pretty much every day. So I'm going to try and keep up with you. If you have to ask a question a couple times, feel free to do so. Or something. I don't know if you can, like, do a little reminder thing in there or whatever, but I'll try to monitor that, see if we have any questions that I can help you guys with. So where was I going with that? Oh yeah, giveaways. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm probably not going to use, it's crazy when I look back, and maybe we'll do some of that looking back because that's fun. It's always fun at the end of the year to kind of reminisce and look back on things. But just the amount of drone stuff and 3D printing stuff that I have now versus when I started several years ago, it's just crazy when I think about that. Um, so I probably have a lot of stuff that is not very meaningful to me, but it might mean a lot to one of you. So I'm going to be collecting some things and trying to find some giveaway stuff that I can give away, and we'll figure out shipping and stuff. It's probably going to be, I try to just pay for the shipping. So probably within the continental United States, I'm going to cover shipping costs. And then if it's like outside of that, I'm not sure. Either it's going to be on you, or we could do halvesies. I'm not sure yet. I know shipping, just like everything else, is getting crazy this time of time. But we got somebody, I can't pronounce all the names over on Instagram, but we have Drone with Happiness. We have Hack FPV joined. I don't know if you're still here, but thanks for stopping by. We have something Fernando, I think, on Instagram. Thanks for stopping by. And over on YouTube, we have a couple people watching. I've had some regular viewers, some regular students, if you will, I suppose. Flex FPV over on YouTube. Shout out to you. And there's a couple others. I can't think of your names right now. My apologies. So we're gonna do some giveaway stuff. Those will be. Oh, should we do live stream giveaways? I don't know. Should I do live stream giveaways? I don't know. Maybe we'll do both. I wasn't really prepared for it for this live stream, so maybe we'll start on the next one. But I think what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna get out a giveaway video of the first thing to give away. And I think what we'll do is we'll do like you can enter in all of the giveaways, but you can only win one time. That way we kind of spread it out. And honestly, my YouTube channel, so the giveaway is going to be on YouTube because I can't like keep track of everything on the different platforms. So the giveaway is going to be on YouTube, probably in video format. And I was going to say something about that, and then I forgot. Oh yes, my YouTube channel is like, I don't get that many views. Like on most of my videos, I don't get many views. There are some videos where I have like a lot of views, and a lot of people subscribe because of that, which is super great. By the way, thank you everybody for 50,000 subscribers, 50,000 plus on YouTube. Wow, that is bananas. Even actually on Instagram, I don't know, it's up to like 17,000, I think. That's crazy. That's crazy. I know a lot of that's just people like I said, like I do, kind of one video and then it takes off and then a bunch of people subscribe. But still, that's pretty cool. That's the most subscribers I've ever had on YouTube. So that's pretty awesome. I know it's funny. It's like compared to 1,000 subscribers, that's a whole lot. But then like compared to like 500,000, it's not a lot. But I'm pretty happy with it. So that's pretty cool. So I forgot to like make a big deal about that. So yay, 50,000. But the point of me saying that is that kind of surprisingly, if I do giveaway videos, there still aren't that many like views and then probably fewer comments of people actually entering. So if you do want to win some of the stuff that I'll be giving away, it's going to be you're probably going to have a very good chance at it. So stay tuned for that. And subscribe to RC with Adam on YouTube, so that way you'll be able to, and I guess hit the bell notification or whatever, so that way you'll be able to actually see when I put those videos out. It'll be fun. It'll be so fun. All right, do we have any questions? Anybody's got questions about drones, 3D printing, that genre of things. Do you have any having problems with stuff? I'd love to be able to help you out if possible. So just let me know. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Otherwise, we're just gonna hang out for like the next hour or so and talk about stuff. Sometimes, like I said, it's fun. It's also fun to just get topics, right? But or to as like a conversation starter to go over. There we go. To go over the videos that I've done previously. Also, it's kind of fun. It's maybe more entertaining to watch. I'm not really sure. So let's do that. Let's jump over. I'm gonna share my screen with you. There you go. And we're gonna just kind of, I don't know, we're gonna reminisce. Maybe you're brand new to RC with Adam or something, and you haven't watched all of my videos like I assume every single subscriber would have, of course. But we're gonna go through them in case you haven't. So lately, I've been doing a lot of 3D printing, and not putting out as many videos lately. To be honest with you, I believe that's gonna change this year, but that's kind of how it has been. Been having a lot of other stuff going on, like moving and like having a family and stuff. I have a family now. That's crazy. I haven't really talked about that. I'm kind of I would say mostly like a private person, but some stuff I like to share to hopefully encourage other people. So I yeah, I have like a whole family now and stuff. It's crazy, but it's great. It's fantastic. It gives your life so much meaning. Over on YouTube, we have sorry, I'm not sure what is that Russian. I'm not sure what characters those are over on YouTube, but they say hello, hello, and I say hello, hello back to you. Merry Christmas. Anyway, yeah, so talking about so I've been doing a lot of 3D printing videos. Primarily the videos that I have been putting out, a lot of them have to do with 3D printing. A lot of things to talk about. Wow, so many things to talk about. I think I have like 400 videos now. Oh my gosh, wait, no. Well, it says 874 videos. I think those count the shorts as well. So if you're counting shorts, that's like very different. But oh man, so there's a lot of things like I think a lot of people who watch this and who are into these kinds of things can relate to this, but like there's so many projects that I've started and made like the first video about, and I haven't exactly like followed through with it, because the funnest part about doing a project is the beginning and the idea, and then like making it and then seeing if it would basically work. But then like I don't want to actually do like a bunch of testing and like data collection and stuff. Like what? I'm gonna leave that to the nerds, right? The real nerds.
What kind of drone? An awesome one.
No, it sounds like I say that disparagingly, but no, nerds are great, because we wouldn't have any of this technology if we didn't have nerds. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not maybe I'm a nerd too, but that's not the kind of nerd that I am. So this video that we're watching right now, this is about
direction that the motors are angled without having to do a bunch of weird stuff and actually change like the direction.
If you can hear it, I should probably just let you hear it, right?
So today we're basically going to be testing to see if this system actually works and holds together and holds up in flight, and we'll kind of see how it feels when we have.
Yeah, so this was like as far as I got basically to test and see if this actually like worked with the 3D printed mounts. The idea with this is that you can test out different angles of the motor without having to
but the important thing is, what do you think?
Without having to
comment right now down below. Do you think that these plastic
remove the motor
hold up to this thing? This is a 7-inch
screws.
drone, by the way.
You basically change the angle of the wedge, essentially, is how that would work.
And I just remembered, this video is sponsored by PC. I think it's
and so that was cool.
Through the little
Yeah,
camera there.
we'll show some
And then
FPV
the big
footage.
screen here, we've got
That's
the
always
360
fun
camera,
to
as you
talk
can see
over
it's
some
spinning
FPV
around.
footage. That's
So right
something
here, just
I don't
kinda
know
doing
if I
some
have many.
tests,
I guess
to
there's
kinda
probably
get a
are not
feel
many
for it, and
regular
also kinda see what the
subscribers
amp
watching
draw
right now,
is.
but
That number, on the
but
OSD screen,
I've always
on the
thought
small
that
screen,
would
that
be
number right there,
a fun
with the
thing
little
to
A
do.
after
Is
the
just make
numbers,
video,
that's the amp
do flight
draw,
videos,
or
and
at
then
least approximately the amp
talk
draw.
over them. I
And
guess I
you can
have
see,
done that, so I don't
when
know why I would think
when
that's a
I'm
new
just kinda
concept.
hovering or at
Certainly other
not
people have
quite
done
idle,
that.
but when I'm hovering or at cruising, it's
But
right
those are the
around
types of
4
videos that I
amps.
like to make. I
At
don't
idle,
really
it's right
do
around 2
much of
amps.
the freestyle edit kind
And
of
so right now I'm
like
just kind
videos. I
of
just like,
testing it out how it feels.
flying around and
Right here,
exploring
I'm
and
gonna
stuff like
test
that.
the prop
I mean,
wash.
I like
And the
freestyle and
prop
stuff,
wash
but
is basically
I'm
the
no
disturbed air
I'm no
from the
freestyle
drone, that it creates.
freestyle champion.
As
You
it
know what I'm
blasts the
saying?
air through the propellers, and so when you fly into that air, it can be very rough and cause a lot of vibration and oscillation. So I'm just kind of testing out to see how that feels in this configuration. I'm also going to do a few snappy kind of moves here. I'm going to test the yaw. You can see I'm using the left stick there. You can kind of see the little stick gimbal reticle overlay on the OSD screen. But it's pretty good. Pretty good. I felt like it was pretty responsive.
It's funny, when I started flying FPV, I was
see we're
so
skimming
scared
those
to
treetops.
fly over trees
Just kind of having a little bit
because
of fun
you know
with it.
if you get stuck in a
I
tree,
think that antenna
it's going to
that
be
I'm
hard to get
using,
down.
from Gep RC, that double
Um,
double antenna on my goggles there.
So
I think it's
I was
working
so
pretty
scared
well.
to get stuck in the tree, and it just felt like so
getting pretty
high,
good
like being like
reception
right above the
most of the
treetops.
time, except for
But
when I
now I love it.
dipped
I
behind
love
some heavy
flying
trees.
over the treetops. I love flying in the tree canopy. That's probably one
was
of
a
my
good flight.
favorites. You don't see it too
Let's,
often.
Take a look and
I think.
make sure everything's still
All right,
intact.
I don't see it too often. I don't know.
And just
I'm
for
not sure.
reference,
You
there's
tell
the
me. Do you
ending
see that
numbers.
very often?
Well,
Other
there you
people
have it,
flying
folks.
in the
It absolutely
treetop
will
canopy. It's a
lift.
lot of fun,
These
and it
mounts
takes
are
you have to be
still
very
solid.
controlled about the
Uh-oh.
flying, but
Wait,
it's
where
fun.
did that screw go? Don't even worry about it. But we did lose a screw. We absolutely did lose one. So you want to make sure.
So that was a
after you
fun
fly
that was a
and you
fun
get some,
project. That was
vibration
one of
going
my
on. You want to make sure and check on those screws and make sure they're tight and everything. But
one
we
of
didn't lose
my
any motors.
one of my favorite projects.
It absolutely
Speaking of
works.
projects,
And
though,
this configuration right.
let's go to. So I did one of my latest ones concepts. Where is that? Was it? I think it was. This was the most recent one. Yeah, I was testing out the number of propeller blades on this concept drone, which is a sub 250 sub 250 4-inch, sort of like a dual drone. So the idea is that you could strip it down really low or really light, and then it would be sub 250, like a tiny battery and all that stuff. But you could still, you still have like the good filming camera built into the FPV camera, and then, but if you wanted to put a GoPro on there, which is like we talked about previously, is becoming kind of less of a reason to put a GoPro on there. But let's say you want to get some, super slow motion or something like that. You could beef it up and then put a GoPro on there. Well, not actually beef it up, but I mean, put a GoPro on there, bigger battery, maybe different propellers, and then you could fly with like a larger payload. That's the concept. And then I have those carbon fiber propeller guards, which is pretty cool. So I think in this video, I think this might be all indoors. I think I was just testing
how to make
out.
them quiet and then how that relates. So if you look online, if you search, does more blade here, you'll see this one.
Yeah, so
If
just
you just
testing
have
out
two
a whole bunch
blades,
of different
stick
propeller
quiet,
blades.
like how loud something is, and
And I
that's really
believe
one of the big reasons why I wanted to keep the
I
weight
gave the
down
bottom line
on
up
this,
front, as usual.
this
That's what I try to do.
prototype here.
So more
and then
blades
batteries.
equals less
I have
noise.
some different options
is
for batteries.
what I
even
got
got
from the
this.
conclusion.
Let's see, this is a new one.
There are many caveats to that
So I'm still
statement, but
testing out
that
different
seems to be the
battery configurations, but this is
continuing
a high
theme
voltage,
based on my
4-cell.
experience with
This is a
small
450 milliamp hour.
drone / plane propellers.
It's
But
an
why?
80C,
Well, it appears that the two-bladed propellers
by
tend to produce a
GNB,
more distinct and
is the
concentrated
brand,
tone,
GNB.
which is more
So,
noticeable,
so there's
even
battery
if
weights,
it
there's
may
drone weights,
not
the
be
dry,
actually
this
louder
drone,
in
just for reference,
volume.
weighs 205
Interesting
grams.
stuff. And then there's a
And
link
I would need to add probably a couple more
science paper
electronics.
or a
I
research
could
paper
basically
and an
add some things
explanation
and
of
take some things
tonal
away
noise.
if I
So,
get really creative.
very
and
interesting.
probably maintain that weight.
Very interesting.
Which
So
is,
the
just
basically
a tiny
the
bit.
whole concept there is like the difference between actual noise, like volume, versus like perceived noise, and how annoying a certain uh, tone or frequency is. Just fell asleep. Let's wake you back up. All right, over on what day is it? Is it Monday? Wow, it's Monday. Wow, everybody's probably at work right now or something. So, well, that's good. Good. It's good to be at work. But if you're not at work, welcome. I see we have some people over on Instagram. I can't read everybody's names, but welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Again, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and we're going to be here for another, 40 minutes or so. And we're doing Q&A stuff, question and answer, or you just ask me anything about drones and 3D printing, but especially if you are a beginner and you are new to this stuff, if you got questions about getting your stuff, set up, or something's not working or something, leave it in the chat or the comments or whatever the section is there. And we're going to try and see if we can help you out with that. Hey, Kevin Smith 9420 over on YouTube says canopy flying. Not seen it in quite some time, and then he took the message away. So, but thanks for thanks for the message for a little bit there. Let's see. We've got got to figure out a good way of like sharing the comments with you guys to figure that out. So we're gonna jump into 3D printing real quick here. So we got a question, or actually a comment. Let me do. How do I do this? Do I copy this link? I'm working on this here. Let's see, copy. This is potentially a big deal. You know what? I'm not going to worry about that. That part doesn't matter. Shout out to over on YouTube, Nightshade, talking about the Cloud 3D print. Cloud 3D print. So I made a video about Cloud 3D print. Let me go back and find that. Oh wait, how am I going to find that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. So I look. There's a video about Cloud 3D print. It's an online slicer, but like as soon as I made the video, they like disappeared. They stopped. They went out of business or whatever it is that they do. And Kevin Smith back at it on YouTube says not since the prevalence of 6S batteries. I'm not sure which part you were talking about. Unfortunately, there might be some lag, so I can't remember. All right, so what you're when you write the comment, I might not know what that was in response to. So anyway, this other commenter says you can also use the printable slicer, which worked way better for me. Also, the Cloud 3D printing slicer shown here is just an error page. Yes, that is correct. It is just an error page, which is very sad. Let's go to printables, and see what we got here. This is printables. This is the Prusa 3D model site. Seems like pretty much every 3D manufacturer has one. The big ones are going to be Printables, MakerWorld, Thangs, Thingiverse. Well, I guess MakerWorld is for Bamboo Labs. Then Creality Cloud or whatever, that's for Creality stuff. I mean, you can get the models that you can download the models and print them on any printer, but they just kind of have their own thing. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I hadn't heard of this printable slicer. So, what is this printable slicer? I guess that's what I should have searched. Slicer. Slicer? A bagel slicer. That's actually a pretty good idea. That's pretty clever. Pretty clever. But that's not what I'm actually looking for. Let me search this. Printables slicer. Oh, are they talking about the Prusa slicer? Or are they talking about I thought it was an online thing. Because the whole point was a slicer that will work for Chromebook. Oh, Kevin Smith over on YouTube says canopy flying. Yeah, canopy flying. So I think that I was saying, have you guys seen this very much? And then he says, not since the prevalence of 6S batteries. I wonder why that is. Not since the prevalence of 6S batteries. You think that's because like they're expensive and people don't want to lose them, or because you can just fly super fast and it's more fun to do that? I'm not sure. Orca slicer. Linux. May need to look into that again. Because I made this video about this online slicer software. But then as soon as I made it, it like went out of business. It was no longer available. So let's say online 3D printing slicer. What do we get? What do we get for that? Grid space. AstroPrint. Did I do AstroPrint? Is that? I feel like I saw that one because that was Cloud 3D Print. N3XT slicer. Real Vision Online. Some of those might be good. STL splitter. Cut 3D models for printing. That actually looks interesting. Let's take a look at that. You upload your STL file, then you set your bed size, and then you cut it into pieces that fit into the bed size. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so if you had like a picture or something, like something really big. So let's look at what is an STL slicer. Which is kind of funny because they call it an STL slicer. Should be called like an STL. Well, they call it STL splitter, so that makes sense. Oh, I got to get back on the comments. Do we have any comments? No. Sweet. All right, but over on Instagram, welcome. Welcome. And Facebook, as usual, one viewer, which I'm pretty sure is me. It's pretty echoey over there on Facebook. And we got Greg Dow over on YouTube says hi. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. All right, where was I? Where am I? Oh, yeah, we were looking at this STL splitter, which is pretty cool. How do I join the pieces together? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So basically, if you had like, I could see that it's like basically, I don't know, well, just something really large, but or maybe it's like wall art even. Maybe it's like a 2D or not 2D, but it's something very large. Maybe you're 3D printing like a big map or something, like a 3-dimensional map. That'd be cool. And then you could slice it up. So that'd be pretty nifty. But that's not actually what I was looking for, because what I was actually looking for was some kind of like online slicers. Now, all3dp.com says 5 great online slicers we recommend. So let's check it out. So we've got AstroPrint, SelfCAD, Kirimoto, Real Vision. Interesting. Okay, I may need to look into these. Well, I don't personally like need this, but some people who like if you're on a Chromebook or something, you don't have access to or you can't use the apps. Oh, Greg Dow. Thanks for that $2, Greg. Appreciate it. Greg says, great windy today, but could use FPV car. Yeah. You know, it's funny you mention that because that is something that I realized I don't know that I've ever done, but I've seen other people do it, you know, put FPV cameras on RC cars and stuff, and that looks like a ton of fun. Because I've got a bunch of FPV cameras floating around, got a few RC cars. That'd be a lot of fun, especially with the kids being able to, because you know they can drive cars really easily. Being able to fly drones and stuff, that's a little bit more involved. So that would be a lot of fun. And then of course, if you want to get like more involved, you could like put it, you know, inside the car and then like put it on like a little head tracker thing. That would be pretty cool, actually. A little head tracker, or even just a pan tilt servo. You know, without the head tracking part. That'd be pretty neat. Okay, cool. So, well, if you were looking for online slicers, you might want to check out all3dp.com. It looks like they have a blog post thingy of like 5 of them that they recommend. So AstroPrint sounds familiar. Maybe I mentioned that in the video that I made previously about that stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that's. Well, yeah, I could make a video about that, but I'd have to test out the slicers. I don't know. I'm trying not to load myself down with stuff that I'm not actually going to do. You know what I mean? Trying to be more focused about the projects that I take on and all that stuff. So anyway, so those are more recent videos here. Let's go back in time. I think a while ago we looked at some of the oldest videos, and a lot of these were RC airplanes. And that very first video, like pretty much my very first like RC related video, was the Hubsan X4 H107L quadcopter. That's what started it all right there. So yeah, that's where it started. And then I was making a bunch of foam board airplanes and just playing around with things. This is a funny video. I guess I kept it because it's funny. It's not really RC related, but 5 manly things men need in their man pockets. Because I'm a big advocate for like, you know, just being prepared, like, you know, like Boy Scouts or whatever. And having your, you know, your everyday carry stuff so in your pockets. So you can watch that video if you like that. Yeah, a lot of videos about the Bat and then the Wizard X220, and that's when I got into FPV quadcopters. And it took me like a month to like figure out why the thing wasn't working and connecting. So yeah, so that's what started making all the videos and stuff, because I was like, oh wow, I figured this thing out, and it was super confusing. So I better make a video so that I'll remember it, and then maybe it'll help somebody else. Greg over on YouTube says, I put FPV on RC tractor to recover crashed drone. That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool. I've thought about that, like for a boat, especially like if I'm flying over water, or like I've been testing out different waterproof and flotation for FPV drones. So like if I went down, how am I gonna get it? Well, I could paddle out there, or I could just send a little like FPV boat with like a little like scooper or something. That'd be cool. Greg says S-bus to PWM converter is 8S and hooks to the same RX S-bus wire. Oh, $8. My bad. $8. That's not an S. Oh, S-bus to PWM converter. Okay, that's interesting. Let's look that up just to see what it is you're talking about. So let's see. S-bus to PWM Von. Come on, man. Spell converter. Let's take a look at that. What do we get? Let's see. Let's look at Hobby King. Let's just see what they have there. So it converts it. How does that work? Because we have 1 through 8 is PWM in out, 9 through 16 PWM out. That's interesting. So signal converter, okay, into corresponding PPM. Okay. Oh. Okay, cool. I'm wondering how does that work exactly? Like how do you select which channels it controls? Because that says one, what does that say? 1/9, 2/10, 3/11. Yeah, Greg. Yes, on Greg on YouTube is saying that the signal converter. So the reason why this is cool and potentially useful is because you can on an FPV drone, you typically don't have servo style, like airplane servo style outputs, like connector pins. And so this way you can connect using the S-bus pads on your drone, and you could connect servos to be able to control the servos. I'm just trying to figure out, like, if you had, like, could you have that many servos connected to it, and then how would you determine which servo gets connected, or I mean, which servo gets controlled? Like, how would you control it? I don't. That's the part I'm not sure about. But that is really cool because the idea there is that you could just very easily connect a like a servo to your drone. So if you or maybe it's like a robotic arm or something. You could use a drone style flight controller and then connect it that way. So yeah, that is cool. Thank you for that tip there. That is handy. So yeah, that would be another fun project. I should do that because I could see a lot of uses for that. Actually, a lot of uses. One thing that I've always thought that it would be super handy to have a drone for is to like I've cut down a lot of trees or helped cut down a lot of trees, and so what you really want to do to help make sure the tree goes in the right direction is tie a rope really high up on the tree. It's because the higher up on the tree, the more leverage you'll get, and then you can pull the tree down more safely that way. So that's why it would be really cool to have a drone where you can just fly, you know, can have a little servo attachment, little dropper thing, connect your rope weight, and then fly over the tree in the exact spot you want to connect the rope, and then just drop it from there. So that'd be cool. Greg says you hook it parallel, both converter and flight controller at the same time. You hook it parallel, both converter and flight controller at the same time. Parallel to the RX output. Oh, okay. So you connect that to the receiver. That's what that is. Let's see. RC buying. Let's look at this one. Is it the same? No, that's well, maybe it's. Let's go back to this one. Maybe that's what we're looking for. This one's I see. So you can switch, when this is S-Bus, you can switch the output from 1 through 8 channels to 9 through 16 channels. Oh, okay. So I guess it's like that many at a time. Okay, yeah. So you connect it to your receiver. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you don't even need to do the. Oh, oh, oh. That's interesting. That's interesting, because that means that potentially, like, well, this one, for example, it's discontinued, but it says $10. Well, Greg said $8. And by the way, thank you, Greg, for that $2 super chat. I think it's called a super chat. I really appreciate that. It's very cool of you. But anyway, he says that they're like $8. So that is really cool, because then what you could do is just attach that to a well, I think like a whatever drone receiver you're using. Like, I wonder if I could just hook it up to my Crossfire receivers that I would usually use to fly an FPV drone, and then I could use it to fly an airplane. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Well, that one's 19 pounds or euros or whatever. That's okay. I could see how that would be handy. That's a good little tip there. Where they got to have them on what's that place? Ready Made RC. Ready Made RC. I don't go there too often, but that is I think a pretty good resource for RC aircraft stuff. Also Windcatcher RC as well. Windcatcher RC. Do they have it on Windcatcher? Windcatcher RC. No, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing RC Factory. I was hoping they'd have it on like one of these places. Pyro Drone, maybe? Pyro Drone. See here. All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, Greg over on YouTube says drones can drive or claw or retractable or gimbal. Yeah, so you could attach all kinds of servo kind of operated stuff. Oh, that would be so cool. Yeah, also like he was saying, you could have a retriever drone, you know? Stop it. I didn't even know this was a thing. That's interesting. Oh, does it even come with the pins though? I guess it comes with the pins. Huh. Now, of course, like that's much more bulk, and then like it still costs $14. So I'm not sure that that would be like totally worthwhile. But there's probably some kind of. I'm just kind of blasting through all these like tech specs and stuff, so I'm assuming there's probably some kind of benefit to all of this. To be able to have this board, which it looks like you're able to add like a GPS and stuff. Oh man, GPS. That's another thing. That's like a whole other subject of study that I want to / really like need to figure out. So many things, man. So many things. It's fun, it's exciting, but it's also like overwhelming because there's so much to learn, so much to do. But this is neat though. Yeah. Yeah, because like I mean, how many times, have you been uh uh flying your drone or airplane, and then, it crashes, and maybe it's like behind a fence or something, or it's like up in a tree, and you could have like some kind of a arm claw thing on an FPV drone that would just like go and then pick it up, and you could fly off with it. That'd be really cool. Very cool. I like that idea. All right, let's see here. All right, it's looking pretty quiet today. Not a whole lot happening over on YouTube. We're having some good conversation over on YouTube, but pretty quiet over on the Instagram. Welcome, Hose FPV, and various other names that for some reason are like unpronounceable. But thanks for hanging out with us over on Instagram. I think we're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes, but if you are just joining us, we are talking about drones and 3D printing and how to do more flying and 3D printing instead of pulling your hair out. That's our goal, is to answer some of those questions, especially if you're a beginner and you're just getting into the hobbies, the hobsies of drones and 3D printing and stuff like that. RC aircraft, all that stuff. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot to learn as well. Pardon me. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, just kind of looking at some of these videos from back in the day. I do have my bat build series. I'm going to be updating that. I'm excited about that. I do plan on updating that. Probably updating a lot of these videos. A lot of the information is actually still relevant. Like this RC electronics for beginners.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to this video.
It's actually very relevant. But yeah, I realize the camera work and the lighting and stuff could have, it could be improved. But like, you're gonna learn the same stuff. Like, you learn this, you can go buy the parts, you can fly an airplane, you can build an airplane and fly it. Well, the electronics anyway. So actually, yeah, I did a pretty good job laying it out, I think. That's how I like to learn. It's like when things are laid out, they're like visually, they're like a picture. There are connections drawn to the parts and stuff, and it's that's very helpful for me. That's how I like to learn. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get back to more of that, actually, more of that type of like old school tutorial stuff. I'm losing my mouse. I can't find my mouse. I don't know what's happening. Why is my mouse disappearing? I don't. There we go. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, just real quick. Let's take a look. So this was the worst flying wing attempt ever. Flattened barn RC experiment. Let's see how that video goes. This is a very short video. Failure is a prerequisite for success. I probably made that up.
For fun, and I don't know. It really makes sense because I wanted something that was slow, and I think these have to be kind of going fast. But anyway, we're gonna see what happens. And I just took apart my other airplane, gutted it, and put all its guts and just threw them on this board. Right side.
So the idea was to make like a flying wing.
Spin it that way. Crazy noise. Okay, how are we doing on time?
1 minute and 40 seconds.
Oh wow, cool. Time flies.
But it didn't really occur to me that like it needs a ton of nose weight
Well, it took
to
a
be
little
able
bit
to fly
longer to
like that.
crash.
And it has so much surface area. And well, yeah, it needs a ton of nose weight because the motor is in the middle of the airplane.
I think there might just be not enough thrust in the back. It's around in the front.
Yeah. And that's the backyard that I started out flying airplanes and stuff in. So it was like pretty big. Like, well, it was big. It was a big backyard, but there were also like a lot of trees, so it wasn't just like big open areas and stuff. So that's kind of how the Bat came about, and other airplanes that were much smaller, and kind of got used to flying in that kind of small space and stuff. Let's see. Greg over on YouTube says, "Oops, I meant the converter and the flight controller both hook parallel to the S-bus receiver. Another same time. Nothing to learn. Servos plug in and move arm claw." Yes. Right. So the converter, like we were talking about, well, that's one of them. The S-bus to PWM converter. Right. We're saying that they both hook up. They hook up to the receiver. Yes, and you can do it at the same time. So if you're I'd probably just have to try it, but that's why I'm wondering, like, if you, oh, there we go. Crossfire to PWM converter. That's more like what I would want, actually. Interesting. So the thing is if it's hooking up parallel to the receiver, how do you control only the servos? How do you control only the servos and not have the signal go to the drone? Oh, compatible with Crossfire protocol, receiver only. That's cool. That's actually that's pretty handy because I have right now pretty much I just have Crossfire receivers, which are intended for FPV drones, and then I have FlySky receivers that are, those would be like for my airplanes basically. So potentially I could buy these guys instead of buying brand new Crossfire airplane receivers. Potentially, although I guess I realized that probably isn't the primary use for these. I'll have to like actually sit down and like read through this stuff and learn about that, but that looks pretty interesting. Huh. Yeah, so based on this diagram here, we have the receiver. They don't show that it is, but so we have the, no, is that the receiver? Looks like the receiver. That one goes to TX, RX, power, ground, the ESC, goes to Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that could be pretty cool though. I will have to play around with that stuff. But definitely putting servos on drones, very useful. Greg says just use channels once. Oh, so you mean like use the channels that you wouldn't be using? Yeah, I guess that makes sense because because if you have like 16 channels available, you're only going to use like five or six, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, depending on what kind of features you have set up for your drone. Animate Fun BD over on YouTube says, "Hi." That's the other one. That's the other one of our kind of regulars over on YouTube for the last few live streams that we've been doing. Welcome over on YouTube. Greg says Crossfire has S-Bus C out, or maybe that's just a typo. Has S-Bus out. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not trying to recall. I actually haven't even wired up an S-Bus or a Crossfire recently. All right, let's see. We are gonna do. I think we're just about out of time here. Yeah, we are just about out of time. We got a couple minutes left. If anybody has any more comments or questions or anything like that, hey, we got one over on the YouTube. We're live on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook right now. And let me read what he's saying. All right, let's see here. All right, we're jumping in. We're jumping in at the very end here. Let me see if I can just answer this in a couple minutes here. Then we got to jump off. Otherwise, we will pick it back up on the next one. So over on YouTube, Varakarak108 says, "Hi, I don't know what you're talking about, but could you please help me with the FPV system? I have a Beta FPV C04 plus M04 VTX and Beta FPV VR02. And when I turn on the goggles and the camera and put them on, the strongest channel, R8, shows 91% signal strength and a black screen. The camera lights up red." All right, so it sounds like basically we're having a connection issue between the FPV FPV camera and the goggles. So Beta FPV C04. Let's look that up. All right, cool. So open. And the VTX module, which I think that's what you're talking about. And the VR02, which VR usually is like the goggles. So there we go. It's not actual VR. It's not virtual reality. It is real reality, actually. So, okay, cool. And we're looking at this guy. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a little bundle. It's a little like all in one. Wow, what a cute little guy right there. That is so cute. So first of all, first thing we got to ask is excuse me, is the lens cover on? Is there a lens cover on the camera? Because he says on the strongest channel, R8, it shows 91% signal strength and a black screen. But the camera, which I assume you mean the VTX camera combo, lights up red, which would indicate that it has power on. But it's a black screen. I don't know. I'm not super familiar. No, I shouldn't say that. I am not at all familiar with those particular goggles or this particular setup. But, you know, so my question is, does it work on any other channels? are you getting signal on any of the other channels, and are you using the scan feature? I'm assuming it has a scan feature on the goggles. Most of them do. Yeah, frequency frequency sweep function and fast frequency auto search function. All right, Greg says PAL Nest SW. I'm not sure what that means. So the advanced auto searching function will show you the working frequency on the screen vividly. Yeah, I would think if you do to Varak on YouTube, if you do the auto search function, that like should give you something. But if that's not working, just go through the channels manually and give that a try. Like search through the band and the channels and make sure that you're matched up on here on the band and channels. So let's see, can you see that? Let's see, you should definitely be able to see that on YouTube. So the band and channels, so you're on R8, so A B C D A B E F R, and then 8, which is going to be 5917 megahertz, and then R8 5917. So try, I'm assuming you have tried the other ones and that's why you're asking, but if you haven't already, just try the other ones and see if you can get one that comes up at all. If you are, so basically assuming that that you did those parts and assuming you don't have a lens cap over the camera, the thing if there's something faulty about it, what could be going on is the camera is not actually connected. So did you like crash it or something, or did you just get it? Because if you crashed it, it's possible that something could have come loose. The connection could be loose or something. And there could be a connection issue between the actual camera and the VTX, because that would tell you that the VTX is like, it's pumping it out and it's getting signal. Your goggles are getting signal strength, but they're not getting image. Oh, okay. Thank you, Greg, over on YouTube. Thank you for mentioning that. I totally forgot about that. He says make sure to check whether it is in the oh gosh, what is it? The NT, is it NTST or the PAL format? It might be NTST, but that doesn't sound right. I feel like it was something different. So there's like two different formats for the video. They're NTSC. That's what it is. So NTSC is what is what this VTX camera combo is putting out. So your goggles need to match that. That's a very good point. Thank you, Greg. They need to match the NTSC. Where does it say that on here? Usually you can go into the menu settings and change those options. You would think, since they're both beta FPV and they're made to be used like with each other, that they would already be set to that, but that is a good point. I don't see it mentioned here, but check for that in the settings. Good point, Greg. Cautious Me, welcome over on YouTube. Says it has only 8 channels to pick from. And it says like the Aquila 1620, B only. Varak says both tables are the same for both camera and the glasses. Right. Yep. So I would check the NTSC format. over the PAL format, or make sure your goggles are on NTSC format, if that's even an option to change that, and then just make sure they're on the same, channel. So the channel is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the bands are A, B, E, F, R, L, and so I guess I should say frequency, and the frequency is going to be the, the individual, like these little boxes that they have on this graphic here. So make sure they're on the right frequency, and that's all I can think of. Well, like I said, unless there's actually a disconnection between the camera and the VTX itself. So check that out. Let me see if I can. Animate Fun says, bro, how is Speedy BF 450 V3? I don't know. Let's take a look at it super quickly. Karak, I think it's Karak. Varak, sorry. Did we answer your question over on YouTube? I hope we did. I hope we pointed you in the right direction, at least. I'm going to look this up because I'm curious what he's talking about. Speedy B. Not Speedy P. Speedy B. What was it? F450 V3. F450 V3. Let's check it out real quick. Shibwam. Okay. Looks. I think it's just their. No, it's discontinued. My bad. I thought it was like their newest version of their stack. Do I have one of these? I don't know. I can't even remember. I might have one of these. I think I have some flight controller stuff we're going to be giving away over the next 12 days of giveaways. So how is it? Are you asking how this one is? Because this one is apparently discontinued, so it must be at least a couple years old. But it's probably solid. I mean, it looks like it has a ton of features, a ton of options. It even has little pads for LED lights. Yeah, that's a lot. It has so many pads. Wow. Pads over there, pads over there. It's got a USB-C connector. It's got big old ESC pads or motor pads. So it looks pretty easy for soldering. So yeah, if that's, I mean, I would build with that all day. Is it like ultra super top performance, extra something frequency hertz, mega 1000? Maybe, I don't know, but it'll probably rip around. What are the stacks? There we go. Let me just see what do they have for their latest ones. Oh yeah, they're already up to the F or the V4. It looks like they're on sale. Maybe that's why you're asking about it, but it says discontinued. That's why I was like, yeah, why would it be on sale? But then it's like, you can't buy this. It's discontinued. I don't know. Maybe it's old. That's weird. So they got the F405 V5, the F7. The F7s are supposed to be better in some ways. 35 amp. That's a mini. I think I have one of those, maybe. I have the F7 V2. That's a big one. Looks like the most recent ones. Ooh, they got the all-in-one. Those the ESCs with the cover. Those look pretty cool. Wow, that's very reasonable. Yeah. OX32 55 amp model aircraft. Oh, that one has a ton of pads. Oh, that's kind of cool. You're doing like model aircraft stuff. Huh. Nifty. I just thought of something cool. I saw this like I'm pretty sure that's not actually a flight controller part. I think it's a practice soldering board. And I was like, that would be cool to have like RCwithAdam branded practice soldering boards as like giveaway stuff. That'd be neat. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. I don't see any more. Hopefully we answered that question. That was a good refresher about the NTSC versus PAL video formats, because again, that's one of those things that you learn and then you don't even remember learning it, and then you forget it and you're like, oh yeah, whoa. So anyway, all right, cool. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody. We're going to be back tomorrow, Lord willing, at 12 noon. I think this time is working out because we're kind of, on vacation from like work and school, times and stuff. It's more flexible, but then that tends to be the time that works out better for normal schedule time. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do some evening streaming times. I'm not sure. I will try to communicate that, but otherwise, we'll probably keep doing the 12 noon or around 12 noon. Something like that. All right. Well, I am going to sign off over on YouTube. So see you later. No, Instagram. See you later, Instagram. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. And on Facebook. See you later, Facebook. Thanks for joining us. And last but not least, of course, on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for that super chat. I super appreciate that. Yeah, we had some good discussion. Learned some good things. Learned about those PWM signal converters. Nice. All right, you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you again next time.